Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited for this video because I'm going to be trying this leather paint for the very first time, and I'm going to be painting on these shoes that I've had for a very long time. I've been meaning to get around to painting them, but I haven't been able to, but today is the perfect time to do it. These are the Angelus brand leather paints that I got in my trip to Massachusetts, and I'm finally getting around to using them. I'm starting off by sketching out my design for these shoes. I had a lot of ideas for them and I couldn't really settle on any of them, but because I was using a new material, a new paint, I wanted to go with something simpler to do and something that I've done a couple of times so that it would be easier using this new paint. And I tried not to do super dark lines on the shoes with a pencil, just in case the paint was very transparent. So I started with one of my greatest loves of all time, and I started by painting a rainbow onto the shoe, which is very customarily for me, I guess. I always do some type of rainbow or rainbow design on pretty much everything that I paint. But this time it's just going to be a simple rainbow on the front of the shoe. And then on the sides of the shoe and on the back of the shoe, I decided to not really paint much of anything, kind of just do solid colors. So on the side of the shoes, I'm doing a light purple lilac color. I was really excited to try this Angelus paint. I've seen and heard lots of good things about this brand and about this paint. Although these shoes aren't leather, they do work with the leather paint. And I've really enjoyed using this paint. I felt like it worked really well for the shoe and for the material of the shoe. So I, as you can see, have jumped a lot in time. But I've just did a basic blue background behind the rainbow and around the rainbow, and have just been filling in the colors in the order of the rainbow. Originally I was wanting to do more of a pastel and lighter rainbow, but I didn't really mix the colors or make any custom colors. I just used the colors straight from the bottle of paint, and so they ended up being a lot darker, which was something that I noticed with this specific brand of leather paint, is that the paint dries a lot darker than what it goes on wet as. And so the color on the bottle isn't necessarily the color that you will get once the paint finished drying. But I think it still was close enough, and I think the colors were still really nice together. On the back part of the shoe, the heel part of the shoe, I guess, I just did a simple pink section next to the purple. I really wanted to use my three favorite colors, being purple, pink, and blue, and I really wanted it to be a major part of the overall color scheme of the shoes. This pink wasn't my favorite, and I did try mixing my own color pink with a bit of red and white, but it turned out to be basically the same pink that I was already using, so there wasn't much of a change. I did have to do many layers of paint to get a nice solid color, and especially in the yellow and blue area, the pencil lines ended up being too dark and the colors were too light and transparent, so I did have to go over it many times. I was a bit lazy when it came to the painting process and the preparation process. I didn't really tape any of the paint off. I thought I could just be careful enough to not make a mess. And for the most part, I feel like I did a pretty good job. But there are some spots that did definitely get paint on the edges. And all throughout this painting process, I wasn't really sure about my design. I felt like it was too simple, but it took a very long time waiting for the paint to dry in between each of the colors of the rainbow. But once I did finish the rainbow in its entirety and I finished letting it dry, I actually liked how it turned out a lot, and so I kind of just left it as it was. And so at this point, I wasn't sure if I was going to leave the shoes as is, or if I wanted to add something more on the sides and on the back part. And so I pulled out the two main colors I was using for those sections, and I kind of started brainstorming some ideas, and then just decided to draw some simple hearts and flowers on the side of the shoes. And then I also did date the back part of the shoes and put my initials on them. I tried making it as small as possible, but they still turned out a bit bigger than I was wanting them to be. And so this is how the shoes ended up turning out after I did all the touch-ups and all the little small details on the sides and on the back of the shoes. And this is without any like finisher or any protectant or sealant. And since I do want to keep these shoes and maybe actually wear them sometime, I definitely did want to put some protectant and sealant on it and give it a little bit of shine. So I was using the same Angelus brand satin acrylic finisher just to give it some protection. I believe I gave it 2 to 3 coats of the finisher. This is pretty much like Mod Podge, but for the acrylic paint itself. And I don't know if it was just the brush I was using or if I was just grabbing way too much, but it spread a lot and it was very messy, and so I had to be very careful when applying it because it was dripping a lot. But I did end up doing, I believe, 3 coats just to make sure it was completely sealed and protected. And this is after the 3 coats, after it finished drying. It's not overly shiny, but it did give the shoes a small shine to it. And I'm honestly extremely happy with how these shoes came out. It's a very simple design, but for my first time using the Angelus leather paint, I was going for a simple look. But overall, I'm really happy with how these shoes turned out. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like how the shoes turned out. I am very happy with how they turned out. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye!